Hello my friends, welcome back to our channel. In today's video, I'm going to be talking to you about all the things that you're going to need to know if you are a Canadian that has moved to the UK and you're trying to open up a bank account. If you're new here, hello, my name is Nicole. I am Canadian, but I now live in England, in Bristol, with my husband Paul. And here on this channel, we typically show you vlogs of what we're getting up to here in Bristol, or even if we're traveling around, you know, pre-pandemic, or I'm showing you homemaking videos here on this channel. But I have also been talking with a lot of you guys in DMs, in email, in Facebook messages and Facebook groups about some of the intricacies about moving to the UK and being a Canadian immigrant here in the UK. And with that, I found there was a lot of questions that kept on coming up time and time again, especially if you watched this video right here. And because of that, I was like, you know what, let me sit down, let me put together a little series. So I have an entire playlist that's going to be linked for you at the end of this video that you can go to and pull from, especially if you are someone that is thinking about moving to the UK from Canada. So with that, let's get into today's video and let me tell you about the really hard time that you're gonna have opening a bank account. So as I previously mentioned, this is going to be a task and a half, and I highly encourage you, especially if you're somebody that you are watching this and you're still in Canada. Do you know anybody here? Do you know anybody who has family here? Start making those connections now, because my goodness, you cannot open up a bank account unless you have an address. And if you don't have an address, how can you open up a bank account? And often most places won't let you lease something or rent something if you don't have a bank account. But if you don't have a bank account, how can you lease something? And if you can't lease something without a bank account, how do you get a fixed address? Like, it is just a continuous cycle that is like insane. I believe that there are quite a few online banking options that you can upload your passport to. I believe Monzo is one of them, and you don't need a fixed address for that. It's still a little bit difficult to use that card, and I do believe it takes some time to come, etc. So look into like Monzo or Starling. However, if you're wanting like a physical bank where you can walk into, honestly, this is going to be a process. So what I personally did is that one of my friends, Stephanie, her cousin lives here, and I was able to use Stephanie's cousin's address as my fixed address, and that's how I opened up a bank account. So when you do that, you will need to have 2 pieces of ID and 2 pieces of proof of where you live. So either a utility bill, a phone bill, etc. So I was put on a BT bill, and then that's how I was able to open up my bank account. Again, as I previously mentioned, you can go the online route where you can get an account with Monzo, and then after you have registered with them, then you can then transfer your money over to a different bank. You should be able to take the documents that you get from Monzo over to the bank and then go show your proof of address. But as you can see, it still is going to be done in stages. So just know that you will have to do that. I feel like there's tons of different hacks when you're moving here that will help you get to the next step. So you might be able to do this one thing, for example, open up a Monzo account, but that Monzo account is going to have limitations. But if you open up that Monzo account, and then that gets you to the next step where you can open up a bank account that you can physically go into, at least it can get done in stages. When you do things this way, I find it makes do with what you have right now, so you're not left high and dry with not being able to open up a bank account. Being completely honest with you guys, I didn't get paid for 2 months once I got a job here. Number 1, because I didn't have a bank account, and number 2, because I didn't have a national insurance number. It took me a really long time to get my national insurance number, and most jobs pay once a month here. So even though I made my national insurance appointment as soon as I got here, the day after I got here, it took about 28 days for me to get that appointment, and by that point my employer had already ran payroll, so I then had to wait to the following month. But I didn't even have a bank account anyways yet, and they didn't cut checks. So whereas I thought I would be able to give that check to my partner and he would be able to cash it for me, that wasn't an option. Now, the other thing that you will need to know about opening up a bank account here in the UK is you won't qualify for most things. So I know some people have done this where they opened up a HSBC account in Canada and then they were able to easily or more easily open up a HSBC account here in the UK, and then they were able to transfer money between both of the accounts, and that works great for them. At the time when I was doing this, that wasn't an option. I literally went into HSBC here in Bristol and I asked them, I was like, hey, if I'm going back home, if I open up HSBC account in Canada, will I be more easily able to open up one here? And they told me no. However, at the time of me filming this, I have heard Canadians who have been able to do that. Now, with that being said, you guys, I bank with Halifax. Would you believe this? That almost 3 years later, less than 3 months to go to 3 years, I still cannot qualify for a card that is like not their basic card. Like my card doesn't even do contactless. So just know that when you do open up a bank account, you're probably gonna get like the bare bones of a bank account, and often that is like the type of account that's gonna charge you more fees. It's the account that you can't do contactless with, and be it that we've been in a pandemic, it's been challenging because everyone's like, oh, don't use the PIN pad, or you know, we only have contactless, and you can't use that. So it definitely caused a little bit of anxiety in me to have some cash on me at all times, because I'd never know when I'm going to be in a situation where my contactless doesn't work. And furthermore, a lot of these basic cards, they don't allow you to add the card to Apple Pay. It will say that like this bank account doesn't allow this function, and it sucks. The last thing that I want to talk to you about when it comes to using a bank card here in the UK is they don't have, like on their PIN pads, they don't have a option for your like checkings account and your savings account. So I personally keep majority of my money in my savings account, and when I want to use some money, I then transfer it from my savings to my checkings. Now, when I first moved here and I didn't have internet because I couldn't get a phone plan because I didn't have a fixed address and the frickin' cycle just kept on continuing, I had like a pay-as-you-go. And if that pay-as-you-go, if my credit with that SIM card ran out, if I had to transfer money from my savings to my checkings, I couldn't do so. And so there was a few times I went to go use my bank card and I couldn't use it because I needed to transfer money from my savings to my checkings, and there's no option to hit savings on the PIN pads here. They don't have that. Like if you have a savings account, I don't believe you can like use that on a debit card. You would have to like go into the bank for that, or you would have to transfer the money on an online app into like the bank account that you use. So yeah, just know if you are trying to go checkings or savings like you typically would at home, you cannot do that. Anyways, my friends, that is it for this video. Have you moved to the UK, and can you concur with me that opening up the bank account was harder than the entire visa process? Honestly, it is uncanny. Like I'm in this group, it's called Canadians in the UK. I'll have it listed for you. And every week there is someone being like, how do I open up a bank account? How do I open up a bank account? And it is the most soul destroying thing, and you cannot do anything. Like I have heard such horror stories because people can't open up a bank account because they can't prove their address, but then no one wants to rent anything to them or lease anything to them because they don't have a bank account. So then they have to pay 6 months up front, and then they pay the 6 months up front, and then there goes their entire money that they moved over here with. And it's just like the craziest of situations. So yeah, I would love to hear if that was your experience, or I would love to hear if you had a better experience. Let's restore the faith in the system here, please. Anyways, my friends, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you would take the time to consider subscribing to this channel, and I hope to see you in our next video. Bye.